Greetings to everyone. Warm greetings today. I'm Gary Kendall. I'm a minister in the Dolphin Star Temple, and I'm here with you this evening to help guide us through another one of the meditations in the series of meditations offered by the Dolphin Star Temple. And I would like to express my gratitude first to the board of the Dolphin Star Temple for all the work that they do, making this possible, setting this up, enabling us to have this contact and to share these events with this larger community of people. Some of you are members of the Dolphin Star Temple. Some of you are just interested. Some of you may be tuning in for the first time. Everyone here who's on a spiritual path is welcome here to be with us tonight. And I do this in some large part in gratitude to Amorah Quan Yin, who was my teacher in the Dolphin Star Temple. And I've had many teachers, but of all of my teachers, Amorah is the one who's had the greatest influence on my life and has helped me the most in being on a spiritual path. So it's in gratitude to Amorah that I'm most happy to be here with you. So greetings to everyone who's present. And just to let you know that as far as I can tell, I have no way of looking at comments. I think maybe you can see comments, but I can't. So I apologize to everyone who sends in messages. I'll have to look at them after the fact. After we're done, I can look at them on Facebook. And I hope that I don't miss anything, but I'm eager to respond to later to any questions that you might have that come out of the work that we're doing here today. So the title for this session is The Illusion of Separation and the Sovereignty of the True Self. And these are two themes that are repeated in many things that Amorah Quan Yin wrote. And I'm going to be using some quotes from Amorah during our work today. And just to let you know in advance, all of these quotes are taken from Amorah's book, Oneness. And, I recommend this book, and it's available on the website of the Dolphin Star Temple, which is www.dolphinstartemple.org. So I hope that if you're inspired by anything that happens here tonight, that you'll be able to follow up with readings from her book. So to first talk about the illusion of separation, I would like to start by inviting you to stand back and just think about and look at everything in your life from the standpoint of how things are cut off from one another, how everything is in separate categories, everything is often considered to be a separate item, unconnected to others. And we look at things this way in some large part because, our contemporary society, modern society, has a belief system that's based on separation. And this belief system has consequences for us, both in our outer world and in our inner world. In the outer world, we find ourselves interacting in a culture where spirit is separate from body and mind is separate from heart and humans are separate from nature. And this permeates so much of how people think and how people approach the world. And in our inner world, separation is expressed in the ways that we separate ourselves from our true self, and that we create separate, fragmented parts to our personalities. These are all parts that get created whenever we act in some way that is out of alignment with our true selves, that we behave in some way that creates the energy of a sort of false identity. And it was Amorah who said, and I'm going to quote Amorah here now, it is the part that doubts that love has been ever constant that creates the illusion of separation, of blame, of resentment, of resistance, of worthlessness, of shame and fear. So there are so many ways in which we can become separated from our true self. And in our internal world within ourselves, these can become part of our personality. And this is something that we're going to address tonight. So every time you created an identification that wasn't in alignment with yourself, you created a fragmentary personality. And if that personality persists and it stays with you, then we can maybe call it a subpersonality. And that then we have a repertoire of sort of subpersonalities that are part of who we think we are, and maybe we move, within the realm of these, fragmentary parts of ourselves without realizing that we're really not in the wholeness of who we are. Quoting from Amorah again, Amorah said, gradually, a persona was developed around all the coping mechanisms for being in the body, instead of around the essence of our being. So, our purpose in healing, for the purpose of healing ourselves, we're going to approach the phenomenon of all of these subpersonalities by working with the room of subpersonalities. This is a visualization of a subtle space within our light bodies that contains all of these behaviors and all of these identifications that we've learned. So we can see that we can visualize this room for healing purposes. We'll visualize the room, and then we're going to, with the help of guides, run energy through the room to have an effect on all of these subpersonalities. And we hope to reduce their number, and we hope to simplify them in alignment with our true self. We can visualize this room of subpersonalities, put our hands around it, and then run energy into this room that'll have a transformational impact on all of these subpersonalities. And there's a relationship here that's important with our sovereignty. And day to day, we live with these separations until we learn to bridge them and allow our true self to become the sovereign that governs us in every way. That's the governor of our personality. Amorah said that sovereignty means that you are your own ruler or master. And then we'd like to extend that to say that it also means that we avoid being ruled by the lesser aspects of ourselves, that we avoid being ruled by the subpersonalities that are not in alignment with who we really are. So our goal here this evening is to release the patterns of these subpersonalities that keep us in limited, pre-programmed reactions to life. And our goal is then to liberate ourselves to be able to explore our being, to explore who we are in real alignment with our true self. There'll be essentially 3 steps to the work, 3 parts. First is to set space, as we usually do, and then to visit this room of subpersonalities. And there we will consider one kind or type of subpersonality after another, and to each to call in a master to help us and to run energy through this room of subpersonalities to help transform it and to help liberate ourselves from the influences that are holding us back. And finally, at the end, we want to be doing some work to integrate all of this within ourselves. So first, for setting space. And setting space is in itself an affirmation of our capacity to be in connection, not to be in separation. So I invite you to close your eyes, to relax and center yourself in your feeling. And first, we're going to draw upon earth-based spirituality. I ask you to reach out to the consciousness of the earth's crystals, to reach out with your awareness, to connect with the consciousness of the crystals. And when you feel like you have that connection, then ask the crystals to assist in creating a most beautiful field of crystalline sacred geometry around you. We ask for the help of the crystals of earth to create a field of the most beautiful crystalline sacred geometry around us. And just envision what that field must look like. And we ask that this field help us to be in alignment with the energy of sacred geometry and everything we do here during this work. And next we reach out to draw upon the spirituality from the cosmos. And we ask for an Antares sphere of oneness to be placed all around and through us. We ask for an Antares sphere of oneness. Antares sphere of oneness from the great spiritual traditions of Antares to create a space around us that connects to the divine oneness of all things. In the great sacred shape of a sphere, the sphere that we see echoed all throughout the cosmos. We ask for a sphere of oneness to be placed around us so that in everything that we do here and everything that evolves, that it's in alignment with oneness. And I invite you now to turn off all perception of the outer world, to let go of the outer world and inhabit just the sacred space that we've created here around us. And I ask you to see yourself as a being of pure energy, as simply pure energy that you are, inhabiting this sacred space. And to assist us in this work tonight, we ask for the presence of Goddess Isis. We ask to be accompanied by Goddess Isis. And we ask her to be joined by Ascended Master Mother Mary. We ask for the presence of Isis and Mother Mary as a confirmation that our path to oneness, our path to wholeness, is through the power of love. It's through the power of love and nurturing that we will bring ourselves into the oneness that we seek in our lives and in the lives of everyone. And these are the first of numerous guides that we will ask to help us as we proceed with the work. So within that space of pure energy, which is the space that you inhabit within this sacred space, ask to be shown the way and guided to the room of subpersonalities. Just let yourself be guided there. It's generally a large room, and its significant feature is that in the center of it, there's a platform on which sits a throne. That throne is ultimately the throne of your sovereignty. It's the throne where should sit the sovereign one who governs everything in your life. And in this room, you may see a number of beings, shapes, forms moving about like the members of a sovereign's court. Don't be surprised if there are quite a few. These are the representations of the various subpersonalities. Each one, wants to sit upon the throne of sovereignty. Each one wants to be in control. And they're all there assembled as the very many different aspects of yourself that you've created over your lifetime. And we ask now that the goddess Isis wraps her wings around the room of subpersonalities. We ask that she declare this a place in which love brings the fragmented self back into wholeness. And as you observe the movement of these subpersonalities moving about the room, you can take in their general qualities to see what kind of mood pervades through all of them. What kind of qualities they have is probably a representation of the things that you have lived through in your life and how you've had to make adaptations in order to come to the point in your life that you are right now. And into this space now, ask for the presence of Archangel Michael, to bring Archangel Michael into this space. Ask that Archangel Michael lift his sword of truth, and that the light of the sword of truth illuminate this space, revealing all of those that are contained within the room of subpersonalities, even the ones that would be faint and those that would hide away, that all of your subpersonalities are revealed in the light of divine truth, held and represented by the sword of Archangel Michael. This is the vision that we want to hold and hold on automatic throughout the rest of the work we do this evening. So among these many versions of yourself, among these many fragments and adaptations of personality that are contained in this room, there are some personalities, some subpersonalities, we might call subpersonalities of fixed feelings or fixed emotions. These are the emotional affects, the kinds of emotions that your personality maybe exhibits and expresses. And maybe you don't usually think about personality this way, but your personality is made up of many things, including what moods and feelings you communicate to others. And it's very often the case that each one of us has a fairly fixed and limited repertoire of feelings that we communicate in this way. Every subpersonality that's associated with one of these feelings has a kind of action, a kind of behavior that is an expression of that feeling. It's a little bit like trying to color the emotions of life with just a few crayons instead of a whole set. And I know from observing people that very often you see exactly what's going on with people by which emotions and feelings they communicate. I see that sometimes in the mornings when I'm watching people go to work, and I see exactly what feeling they have about being on the process of going to work. So there's that repertoire of feelings that we have, are each captured in a subpersonality. A lot of times the feelings that we have that are part of ourselves have come about that way because we've learned them in social context. We've learned that they're safe emotions for us. We're accepted and recognized when we express emotions of a certain kind. Sometimes, too, there are feelings that we have that are fundamental to our lives and feelings that are deep inside of us that are working to get themselves expressed. Sometimes there are feelings with our core issues that are trying to be expressed, and they come out sometimes when they're pressing on us and need that expression. So, what we want to do is to be able to expand that range of emotions, to expand it beyond the repertoire that we typically use or the repertoire that we're stuck in because of life experiences, and to expand it in a way that's open-ended and allows us to be in contact with the infinite possibilities of feeling, to be in contact with the infinite possibilities of feeling. So I ask you now to focus your attention on the room of subpersonalities, to look at all the subpersonalities in the room, and we're going to ask for the help of Lord Buddha, ask for the help of Lord Buddha, particularly the laughing Buddha, to help us release ourselves from our stuck emotions and the ones that have become part of our repertoire of emotions for our personalities. And so, if you would put your hands around your image of the room of subpersonalities, and now calling upon the help of Lord Buddha, let's send into that room the energy of spontaneous joy and laughter. Spontaneous joy and laughter all through that room. Imagine it penetrating, imagine it going through all of that space around all of the subpersonalities. And there is probably some subpersonalities that can't coexist with that joyful energy, and they'll not be able to persist and they'll dissolve away. But run that energy through all of those beings so that they all must stand in some relation to joyfulness. They must all have some relationship to that joyful energy that helps move us out of all of our emotional tight spots. And of course, in alignment with our true selves. Our true self is always in a place of joyfulness, of being able to experience laughter. So run that energy all through the room of subpersonalities. We want to evolve to a place that all of our emotions run through us like water running through a stream. Our emotions, whatever they are, run through us and they run down the stream and out to the sea. They don't get stuck within us. It's a constant flow of many, many colors. And as we run this energy through the room, then the number of subpersonalities in the room probably decreases. The crowd that's in the room gets smaller as only the subpersonalities are left that can stand in the presence of joy and laughter. Joy and laughter should be a part of everything that we are, something that we can carry forward into every aspect of our lives. And so we ask Archangel Michael to continue to illuminate the room, and you can relax your hands. A lot of the subpersonalities that we have are associated with an effort to hide the truth, hide the truth from ourselves, hide the truth from others. And this is part of the adaptations that we make in living in the ordinary world. So I'd like to read another quote from Amorah. And Amorah said, as we try to protect ourselves by shutting down, it does not work, because what we have actually done has created separation. In that contraction, we have blocked the natural way of spirit to radiate and flow. And so we are working with these subpersonalities for the purpose of opening up our radiation and our flow. So, I'd like to turn our attention to subpersonalities that we've created of a category and a type that try to appear invulnerable. These subpersonalities are your shields of protection. We create them to protect ourselves from harassment and pain in the world around us. These subpersonalities are meant to look strong and to hide our perceived weaknesses and vulnerabilities. And probably we naturally hold a misperception that appearing strong protects us, but in fact, creating this appearance of strength actually holds us in the limitations and the perceived weakness that we think we're protecting. So these are all about creating an illusion of invulnerability. Maybe you've created versions of yourself that help you to avoid appearing too weak, maybe avoid appearing too indecisive. Maybe that some of these subpersonalities help you to project a confidence that isn't really yours. Maybe they're there to make you seem likable. Whatever you believe your deficits are, these are likely to generate your protective subpersonalities. And what does that do to your true self? Well, one thing is that these subpersonalities can feel quite heavy. They can feel like metal. And the weight of carrying around all these protections is so great. Carrying around all these protections, can cause you to exhaust your true energy, your true creative power. They are robbing you of your vitality. And maybe these were defenses that you needed at one time, you thought, but maybe that was long ago and you don't need them anymore. And in the process, maybe you need to forgive yourself for feeling and believing that you were something less than others, that you have deficiencies that have to stay hidden. The alternative to carrying this heavy armor around is to be completely open and honest, truthful about your talents and abilities and who you are, to be completely open about yourself. And to come into that as part of our true selves, we need to release the subpersonalities that we've created that are there to be our shields of protection. So once again, if you would focus on the room of subpersonalities, visualize it again, and place your hands around that image with the palms facing inward. And now we ask for the assistance of Ascended Master Jesus Christ of the Light. We ask for the assistance of Jesus to be here to help us see through the illusions about our deficiencies, to help us see through the illusions that we need to hide aspects of ourselves. And we ask for the assistance. We ask for the assistance of Ascended Master Jesus Christ of the Light to help us fill this room with the energy of self-acceptance. That self-acceptance and all these subpersonalities are infused with the power of self-acceptance. We choose to accept ourselves. We choose to accept ourselves for exactly who we are and what we are. And we ask for the assistance. We ask for the assistance of Jesus in helping us forgive ourselves. Forgive ourselves for all the false facades that we have shown to others. All the false facades that we have shown to our friends and family. Forgive ourselves for our mistakes. And help to guide us to respond to the world in total honesty and truth. And as you run this energy of self-acceptance through the room, it penetrates through all of the subpersonalities that are there. We ask for your help. We ask for your help, Ascended Master, Jesus Christ of the Light, to help us penetrate all of these subpersonalities with the power of self-acceptance. And as we do that, the number of subpersonalities in the room decreases. As some of these subpersonalities can't persist in the presence of self-acceptance. And as those subpersonalities dissolve away, we ask that the energy they release be given to our true self. The energy that's released that we've put into all of these subpersonalities, we ask that it be redirected to giving power and life to our true self. let that light, that power of self-acceptance permeate through the room, giving it the power to transform our subpersonalities and release us from the shields of protection that we've created and don't need in our lives. And as the subpersonalities in the room adjust to the power of self-acceptance, then we ask Archangel Michael to continue holding his sword of divine truth up in the room, illuminating the room, so that we might see the subpersonalities that remain after having done this work. And there's an interesting flip side to subpersonalities that are protective shields. And maybe these are personalities that are protective in a way, but they're protective by taking on the role of submission, having submissive patterns of giving away your power. Yes, I mean, specific subpersonalities that step back from who they really are, step back from their possibilities, and take on a pseudo appearance that isn't in alignment with your true self, that is expressing less than what you truly are. Sometimes these kinds of personalities that are there to give away power and to accommodate the power of others are there because we've had experiences in our lives that were painful, where we were forced to be something less than what we are. But more often, they're there because they're triggered by the absence in our lives of the support that we need or the love that we need. That deficit in ourselves motivates us to step back from ourselves, and it robs us of the strength and confidence that we need to be fully empowered in our lives, to represent ourselves as who we really are. So now we want to work on releasing those patterns of submissiveness, those patterns of stepping back from our true strength and our true being. And these are patterns that often come up when we're called upon in life to be exactly who we are. We are the right person at the right time, and then we turn our backs and walk away. So I invite you once again to focus on the room of subpersonalities. To look at the contents of the room, to survey, to see what forms and shapes of subpersonalities are left in the room. And now to place your hands around the room. And this time, we ask for the assistance of Ascended Master Mother Mary to assist us. We ask for the help of Ascended Master Mother Mary to help us see past the illusions of our limitations and the belief that we need to hold ourselves back. Everywhere that we hold that in our personalities, we ask for the help of Mother Mary. And we ask her help in running through this room and through all these personalities, the energy of steadfast persistence in truth. Mother Mary's steadfast persistence in truth. We ask for her help in teaching us to hold on to our truth in a steadfast way, and to run that energy through all of the subpersonalities of ourselves that are in need of staying steadfast and in proper alignment with who we really are. We ask for the help. We ask for the help of Mother Mary in helping us to release all of our subpersonalities with patterns of inhibition or collapse. We ask to open ourselves to the expression of our talents and capacities, that when we know a situation is right for us, that we can be there as the people who we really are. And we ask for Mother Mary's help in our persistence and steadfastness to express our needs when we need to express them. Through this room, we run the energy of steadfast persistence. To hold our faith, in the face of difficulties. And maybe too, we need Mother Mary's help in finding the forgiveness for ourselves, to forgive ourselves for being less than who we really are, not being there for others when others needed us to be our true selves. We run this energy through the room of subpersonalities. To heal those subpersonalities and to release those subpersonalities that cannot exist and be part of us in the face of steadfast persistence in our truth. We run that energy through the room. Which is populated by fewer and fewer subpersonalities. And we can ask now that Archangel Michael continue to illuminate this room, to help reveal to us all of the subpersonalities that we still need to release, all the aspects of ourselves that are left that are out of alignment with our true selves. We ask that He continue the illumination, and we can relax our hands again. There are a number of subpersonalities that are seldom revealed in the outer world, but who can deeply, deeply influence our lives. These are ego-based subpersonalities that embody emotions like anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, and denial. Fear is generally at the root of them all. These are ego-based subpersonalities that also include our ego-based needs, like the need of the ego for attention. These are subpersonalities that we often experience and are described as talking to us, that speak to us without making themselves overtly seen, the quiet voice in your ear. But they can sometimes break through, especially under extreme conditions. And sometimes if we've hidden these away and buried them long enough, they begin to take on the power of being the shadow of ourselves. They become the shadow personality, and that is, of course, the exact opposite of our true self. These personalities, these subpersonalities, often have the affect of being on the edge of chaos, on the edge of things falling apart. And that's one of the reasons why they often seem desperate to us or try to motivate us through a desperation. But these sub-personalities, based on these false qualities of the ego, are often pretending to be powerful, but are not nearly as powerful as they pretend to be. And so we have to learn what our right relationship is to all of these subpersonalities. So now let's once again focus our attention on the room of subpersonalities and place our hands around this room to deal with this persistent problem for so many people in humanity, which is dealing with these aspects of ourselves that we often quite keep hidden, but which take more and more form as part of our personality. And now, with our hands around this room, we ask for the help of Ascended Master Lord Maitreya. We ask for the presence of Lord Maitreya to help us see past the illusion of our subpersonalities of ego-based fear and assert our ability to govern ourselves wisely. And we ask for the help of Ascended Master Lord Maitreya that we might penetrate all of these subpersonalities with the power of mastery and balance. Mastery and balance. That we are the masters of ourselves. And in this process, we undoubtedly need to acknowledge that all of these feelings and emotions and these subpersonalities have been part of ourselves. We need to acknowledge those parts of ourselves that come up in that way. And at the same time, we need to not judge these feelings, not judge them, and know that even if we feel them, we do not need to be ruled by them. We ask for Ascended Master Lord Maitreya's help in running the energy of mastery and balance throughout all of these remaining subpersonalities. Because we know that it's ultimately the true self who will govern from a place of mastery. And all of this energy we're releasing from all of those emotions, from all of the energy we've put into managing these subpersonalities, often there to keep these emotions behind the door, to hide them, to keep them from the view of others, to take all of the energy that we release because we let these emotions flow and pass through us like we've described before, like water running down a brook out to the sea. We do not judge them, and we do not need to act upon them. We ask for your help in your example, Ascended Master, Lord Maitreya. Help us in being the masters of all these things that we are. We run this energy through the room of the subpersonalities, like we're sweeping out cobwebs, like we're cleaning the space. We're preparing this space. We're preparing this space for a coronation, preparing this space for the coronation of the one who can sit on the throne, the one who deserves to sit on the throne. Sweep through this space and clear it. We ask Archangel Michael to continue with us, and you can relax your hands. Now we ask for the assistance of Goddess Isis again in helping the one true self to take its place upon the throne. We ask Isis to guide the way with love, because it must be on the path of love that we're able to let go of everything that we are, to embrace everything that we are, to expand ourselves to everything that we are, to be the ones who can really sit upon the throne of our sovereignty. It's by love that we're reborn as a being of oneness, that we're reborn in the sovereignty of who we're meant to be. And as Isis stood behind the throne of Osiris, bringing Osiris to the throne, she's now with us, so that our true self can sit upon the throne of our sovereignty. And there are then no subpersonalities to stand in the way, no subpersonalities with the strength to block the true self from being the sovereign that governs our lives. And I'd like to read another quote. This is a quote from Amorah Quan Yin, channeling Osiris. These are the words of Osiris, who is the Egyptian god of rebirth and regeneration, speaking of his mythic story. And we see that, in fact, it's our mythic story too. Amorah speaks and says, Osiris tells his story. Now this is Osiris's voice. I want to tell you a story from the traditions about me. The story that goes that I was once conquered on earth and cut into many pieces. Those pieces were scattered all over the earth, and wholeness was lost. When my mate, the goddess Isis, discovered this, she began to locate these scattered pieces and attempted to put them back together. And she did that by the strong power of her love. She did this with all but the final part, which I then had to find and reattach. Only I could do it. This story is symbolic in its nature. It represents how when we come to Earth, we begin to develop an ego that separates us from our true selves. that cut up pieces represent this division of the true self. In order to find our true selves again, we go through many life experiences from which we gain knowledge and understanding. Eventually, just living life is not enough, and we enter the spiritual quest for absolute truth. That quest leads us to reassemble our physical and higher dimensional selves. In that final step, we move into mastery as the true self that is invincible and has never lost its purity. We join into oneness with all parts of ourselves and with all that is. Thus spoke Osiris. So the myth of Osiris and Isis is the myth that teaches us the pathway to our own oneness still once again. And as you're sitting with your eyes closed, I hope, give all of your attention, focus all of your attention to the feeling place inside of you, where now your true self can sit upon the throne, your true self sitting upon the throne of sovereignty, to take that feeling within you, to know that that possibility is there, that possibility has always been there, and that possibility is being, let's say, illuminated by our work tonight. And visualize that light within yourself as maybe a ball of light, and let it expand. Let that ball of light expand until it fills your entire chest, until it expands outward to start including your arms and your head, and it reaches down. That light expands until it covers your legs. Let that light expand until it fills the entire space of your aura. That light of the possibility of the true self being the sovereign of everything that you are. And I'm going to ask you to take 3 deep breaths and then take 1 more breath and hold it. This is for the purpose of stabilizing and crystallizing the work that we've done here today so that we sustain it and carry it forward. First, 3 deep breaths and then 1 breath retained. Ready? First breath in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Then another deep breath and hold it. By that action, we commit to holding on to the changes that have occurred. And now you can open your eyes if they've been closed. And we say for our guides and helping spirits, for all who've been here, for all of the ascended masters, we express our love for you, for all the love you've given to us. We receive your love and we give love back. We receive love and we give love in an endless cycle. We thank you for all the work you've done. Okay, so I hope now that you have a little bit of time in your life to rest and integrate this work. And I'm very happy to see that I've got a few messages here, and I'm uh, you know, very happy to smile and see some familiar names from all over the world. So, my love and best wishes to you all. I hope this has been profitable work for you, and I hope that it gives you a chance to continue the process of finding the mastery of your true self and your sovereignty with your true self. And so I say goodbye now, and love to all.